I'm going to suggest a different way to get started in witchcraft and spiritualism. When people ask, where do I start? Common answer tends to be external. Protection, get to know the plant animal allies, the elements, and so forth. None of these are an issue, but those people can still feel overwhelmed and not really know where to begin. There is a different approach we can take though, one that I think that prepares us better for the wider journey of skill development and carving out our own path. So first of all, start with the ancestral soul. When we start with the ancestral soul, you do not need to worry about protection, stepping on someone else's toes, doing the wrong thing, and all the things that create fear in this process. Every memory, skill, and life contained within the ancestral soul is a part of you already, a part of your soul, and one you are going to be contributing all your growth in this life to. It's not all your ancestors. It's not the same as ancestors. It is only the lives that are yours and that are you. So all you will experience is what is already in yourself. Not all the ancestors or family members are great. It seems to be the top reason why I hear people do not want to connect with the ancestors. With ancestral soul, you never have to worry about running into them. By connecting to our ancestral soul, we're able to start accessing the skills, abilities, and knowledge it already possesses. We're just waking it up. Starting at the place of the self and the ancestral soul gives us a sense of comfort and a unique kind of freedom in exploring your own path. Next, meditation, trance, and frequency. You can work on all three of these at the same time. The more you learn in one area, the more expanded understanding you gain in the others. The work we are focused on first is alignment of our body, soul, and mind. What we think, what we feel, and our actions, bringing them into harmony and balance with each other. This way, we are moving in the whole self, the authentic self. So, frequency. Learning about frequency, how it affects water, the state of the brain, brain waves. All of these things hold keys for us that will help you to unlock all the potential possibilities within yourself and in this life. It is believed that frequency is the center of everything. To know it and understand it gives us the power to create. Meditative practice. No, I am not talking about quiet sitting, clearing the mind, meditative practice. I am talking about a practice that equally involves the body, soul, and mind. Some examples. So Tai Chi, yoga, belly dancing, so much more. All of these combine a slow and purposeful movement, awareness, and oneness with your breath, and the right brain waves to connect to the energy within you and around you. None is more right or wrong, just different ways to achieve the same result. I even know people who have created their own. I personally really encourage the mala technique. The mala technique is just using a string of 99 to 108 beads, a chant, something very simple, but also very direct as to your intention, and going through, memorize the chant, and then move through each bead with your eyes closed, saying the chant. It helps you to get your brain waves in the right state for trance and spirit walking. Self spells. Most people that start in witchcraft want to do spells. It is part of what drew them, and it is the practice of action. We want to do something and experiment. It is a very tactile way to experience the energy around us and give us space where we can melt into the magic. Start with self spells, spells that are directed specifically at you. Do you have difficulty with change and experiencing change right now? Do a spell for courage and strength. Are you confronted with a difficult decision? Do a spell for clarity, one that helps you to see all sides so you can make the best decision you can. Are you lonely? Do a spell of self-love. The more you love yourself, the more that radiates from you and people want to be near you. Glamour magic can be useful in healing and showing your inner beauty on the outside. The great thing about self-directed magic is that it shows us what is working and what is not. It is a way to easily gauge the power and effectiveness of your spells, giving us confidence to experiment, yet without the worries of someone else getting hurt or going bad for you. They'll either work or they won't. Celebrate the self. It is important that we celebrate the self, all of our small little wins, because we are changing and growing all the time, every day. We will make mistakes. We will hurt someone at some point, not meaning to. And there are growing pains of growth. We have to forgive ourselves and know we have learned from it. We don't forget the bad, but we don't live in it either. Often we focus on the negative aspects of us, what we have done wrong, our mistakes. If we do this more than we celebrate the good parts of us, our mind will only focus on the bad things. If we focus on celebrating our wins, all of our small little wins, we are reprogramming the mind to focus and live in our accomplishments and growth. Celebrating the self is a wonderful thing that many people rarely do, yet it can change everything else in your life and how you perceive it. Self altars. You hear a lot about deity, ancestor, and specific tradition that has different ways of setting up an altar. But what about a self altar? This is an altar dedicated to you and the ancestral soul that is you. It is a celebration of the self. It is a way to bring in visuals that you want to manifest in your life. It's also a great place to do all your self spells. There are no rules here. You are building it with the things you see that represent you, that you are drawn to, that make you feel spiritual, powerful, magical. It changes as you grow and change, an outward symbol of the transformations within you. Have fun with it. Create an effigy for yourself or repurpose a statue to represent yourself. Put your prosperity money bowl spell there. Bring in symbolism of all the things you want to attract in your life. Put the elements you are drawn and connected to and ones you want to connect to. So, in ending thoughts, starting your journey from a place of self allows us to work from a rhythm of inward to outward, a natural cycle. The more we know about ourselves, the better we can determine the right actions for what we really want. The stronger we become in our abilities, developing, honing, and discovering skills that are already yours, finding what your magic is, and letting your soul guide you on the journey. It eliminates some of the core worries people come in with, such as doing something wrong, taking from a practice, getting hurt, inviting unwanted things into your life. I geared this to people more starting out, but I've met many longtime practitioners who have not done this kind of work. They are concepts we don't really talk about in books, and most people will say, read and learn because books have the answer. But I feel we only truly experience our full power, our whole self, when our body, mind, and soul are aligned, when we understand the self. To do that requires us to know the self, love the self, have access and control of all that is in us. We heal through this type of self journey. We move into a place of living in our true authentic self because we harmonize within our whole self. When a new person approaches me from now on, I'm not going to say the usual lines. I am going to point them here to this kind of work, this kind of journey. I have no doubt anymore that going through this path heals all of our wounds. We become the most powerful version of ourselves, and to heal us in the sense of community, bringing us together, yet not having to be the same.